What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the 98th episode of the Hot Takes podcast. It's our road to 100 episodes, and we are nearing the end. Nearing the end, by that I mean after this episode, we only got 2 episodes left of the Hot Takes podcast. And all I gotta say is that time flies by. It was almost like yesterday that I released the trailer for the last 10 episodes. And now we're here. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, the expression time flies when you're having fun is no joke, because we have been having a great time here filming these podcasts, as we always do. And that just explains how quick time has been going by, and we really are nearing the end now. If you couldn't already tell by the thumbnail, by the title of this video, it's a solo show tonight. It's just me. I have tried doing a solo podcast before, and I actually hated how it felt. I hated talking to myself to the camera, and I also hated the way it turned out. So it was something that was never released, and I think I did that because I think a guest dropped out that week, and I couldn't get a replacement, so I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll just try to do a solo podcast. And like I said, I hated the way it felt. I hated the way it turned out, and I just never released it. I just don't think we ended up releasing a podcast that week. But, because we're nearing the end, because I want to have the finale date set in stone, this one will be released. If it's good or bad, whatever the case may be, it's going out to the world, so here we are. With that being said, I don't know how this episode is going to turn out. I don't know if you guys are going to like it. I don't know if you guys are going to hate it. I just don't know. I don't know how I'm going to feel about it afterwards either. But, I got my little notes here. But really, I'm just going to wing it for the most part. I'm going to be talking about some news roundup in the movie world. We haven't talked a lot about movies in a while, so we're going to do that. I'm also going to let you guys know how I've been doing and what I got been going on in my life. And then we're going to move on to news about the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, and what's coming in the future. But, to get right into it, let's just move on to what's been going on with me, if any of you are interested for that matter. But, so I've been doing great. I've been working, podcasting, chilling with friends and everything like that. It's just another day, but it's also just another great day. I've been feeling great. I've been doing great. And I've been trying to improve myself day by day. And by that, I mean I've been going to the gym like every other day. I know it should be every day. But, I'm slowly getting back into it. I'm also going to be quitting vaping soon. I mean, I already kind of started leaning my way off it. For those of you that smoke vapes, as you know, there's like the salt nicotine level of like 5% nicotine. And then you could lower it to like 3% to 2.5%. I'm on like a 2.5% nicotine level now. I've been on that for a while now, like a couple of months. But now I'm at the point where like I'm not really smoking the vape at home, and I'll only smoke it just to like socialize with friends and everything like that. But eventually I'm going to lean off that too, because I spend most of my day at home. I work from home. So most of the day I'm home and I'm not smoking it, and I do get that little itch here and there once in a while, but otherwise, it's been not that bad. I haven't been having crazy withdrawal symptoms from it. I used to smoke a lot of weed back in the day, senior year of high school, and then all the way throughout college. And when I stopped smoking weed, it was kind of really easy for me. I wasn't having any itch of wanting to smoke it again, and truthfully, I stopped because I was hating the way I was feeling from getting high. I was getting, very paranoid and everything like that. So that's the main reason I stopped, and that's also the main reason of why it just didn't interest me anymore, because I hated the way I felt on it. And I could kind of say the same thing with vaping, because, you get nicked out sometimes. Nicked out is like a term that most vapors know of, and probably cigarette smokers know of. It's like when you get a little nauseous, when you get very lightheaded from smoking too much of it, shit like that. And sometimes that feeling is good. I can't lie on that fact, but most times it's not a good feeling, and I'm just starting to get sick of it and whatnot. I'm definitely having a lot of people hold me accountable for not smoking the vape anymore, which has been a huge help as well. And yeah, that's going to be another thing off the list. So, going to the gym, stop smoking weed. On a more personal note, also to stop jerking off. Yeah. I just don't think it's good for the mind or anything like that. Not to get too weird and personal like that, but I just thought it was something I'd try, see how it would turn out. And yeah, I think that would just be for the better as well. I don't know why I just said that. I feel like that was very personal in a sense, but whatever. What else have I been what's been going on in my life? Halloween just passed. I hope you all had a wonderful Halloween and everything like that. We're in November now. Time is flying, like I said before. But my Halloween was great. I threw a party here in the basement, people were literally hanging out in this studio on the other side of my basement, as well as where like the main party was and everything. And it ended up being a great time. I put a lot of work into this party. I should have taken a picture of what the other side of my basement looked like before I cleaned it up, because it was like a tornado hit it. And, it took a couple of weeks, like 1 or 2 hours a day to like clear it all up, clean it all up and everything like that. And then you got all the decorating with Halloween decorations and everything like that. And came out really good. I'll actually put up a picture right here of how the basement turned out. I thought it came out great. A lot of people were complimenting me on it and everything like that. So that was a good feeling because I put a lot of work into it. And I was satisfied with the way it turned out, how the party turned out. I had a great time. Speaking of, if you haven't noticed already, I'm kind of clean shaven. I did a clean shave on Saturday, which was the day of my party, the 30th of October, because I was playing the part of Danny Phantom, and I'll put a picture of me in the Danny Phantom costume there for you guys to see as well. I posted on my Instagram as well. Follow me at Farank _ McKnight. And I loved my costume. The Danny Phantom costume was sick. It's probably my second favorite Halloween costume that I've ever had. The first being the Joker, which I did a couple of years back. And, I do cosplay for Comic-Con and MagFest and conventions like that. But for me, Halloween is just another excuse to cosplay and to go all out with it. And that's kind of what I did. I have a lot of fun with stuff like that. So the Danny Phantom costume came out great. Yeah, the people that came to the party too, great people, all good vibes and everything. So it really was an awesome time. So now we're in November, and I'm already planning the next event. I have a Friendsgiving coming up. I know a lot of friend groups do this, but for those of you that don't do this and don't even know what it is, Friendsgiving is basically just Thanksgiving but with your friends. You either cook a whole bunch of food together and prepare a whole bunch of food together, or you just order something. And then you have a nice dinner, drink some fine wine, listen to some good music, just enjoy everyone's company and everything like that. So I'm planning that for this year. It's going to be landing on Saturday, November 20th. This is going to be our second year in a row doing a Friendsgiving. Last year was the first year we did it, And it was a lot of fun, so we were like, why not? Let's do it again. We all dressed up nice too, like button downs, everything of that nature. We tried to make it like it was a special night in a sense, and it turned out great. So we're doing it again. I actually made a music playlist, fire music playlist, by the way, a whole bunch of classic songs from like Frank Sinatra, Billy Joel, The Beatles, Elton John, people like that. And we also got our lineup of foods that we're ordering. We're going to be ordering from Dusau's. Dusau's sponsored the pod. We ordered from Dusau's last year as well. But we're doing a full lineup of Italian food like we did last year. Because, on Thanksgiving, you're going to be having Thanksgiving food. We didn't want to have a full buffet of Thanksgiving food a couple days before actual Thanksgiving, so like we're changing it up in a sense. So that should be a good time as well. The people I'm having there, it's most of, if not all of the people that was on that Embarrassing Photos of Us podcast, where I had my high school friend group come on the podcast to look back on all the photos of us. It's that crew that would be coming for that. It should be a really good time. Besides the holidays going on, I got a couple other things planned up this weekend. Actually, by the time this episode is released, it would have already happened. But this weekend, I am going to my cousin John's bachelor party up in Pennsylvania. We're staying in this castle for the whole weekend. This castle is gigantic. You know what? I'm actually going to edit and put photos up as I'm talking right now of this castle. It is so huge. There's so many things to do in it. I mean, you got a bowling alley, you got a movie theater, you got a dining hall, there's pools, a mini golf course. So much shit in there. I'm just really excited for it. It's going to be a great time. Speaking of my cousin whose bachelor party I'm going to, he was actually supposed to be the guest for the 98th episode, and the night we scheduled to film it, I actually canceled it on him, which is very unlike me, too. I don't, the podcasts are a big thing in my life, so I never like to cancel pods on anybody or anything like that, but I was just so tired that night, and, I just canceled it. I just wasn't in the mood. I wouldn't want to give a half-assed performance on the pod when I'm not feeling it. And then days went on, and it was like, all right, I need to get some sort of episode in, so here we are now. But anyway, yeah, my cousin John was supposed to be on the pod for this episode. We were going to talk about, building a business and everything like that. So I'm sorry, John, if you're watching this right now, that we couldn't make that happen. But I do have to say I am extremely proud of my cousin John. He is moving his life forward, very quickly, but at the same time, and more importantly, very effectively and in the right path. I mean, as you would assume, he's getting married because we're going to his bachelor party this weekend. He's getting married 2 weeks after his bachelor party or something like that. He's got a kid on the way. He just moved into a house. Like, he's doing it up big time, and I'm extremely proud of him. And I would definitely say he's one of my, people that I know. He's one of my role models in my life as far as people that I know. So I really do look up to him. I actually work with him now. His business is basically my main job in e-commerce. We're 98 episodes in, and I never really got into where I worked or anything like that. I just never thought it was necessary, but I just dropped it on you guys there now. I work in e-commerce. And if you don't know what that is, look it up. It's not too complicated to explain, but I just don't feel like explaining it. But what I will say briefly about it, you're partnering up with Walmart or Amazon or both, and you're helping them sell products. You could either be selling your own products through Walmart or Amazon, or you could be doing FBA. You could look up what that means, stuff of that nature. I don't want to give too many secrets away of the business. It's a money-making business. That's what I'll say. And I'm glad he brought me on board. I love the guy, like I said before, proud of him and everything like that. So, yeah. And what else do I got going on? December coming up. Obviously there's Christmas, and New Year's in January. Besides the holidays, my birthday is actually coming up on December 12th. Little fun fact, I actually share a birthday with Frank Sinatra. I'll always remember the story that my dad would tell me when I was received through the womb. The nurses, the doctors, they were like, "What are you gonna name him?" My dad said Frank, and my dad was like, "It's also Frank Sinatra's birthday," and the doctor was like, "Oh, you're naming him after Frank Sinatra?" And he was like, "Yep." And that's actually not the case. I'm actually named after my grandfather, Frank. But yeah, for some weird, funny reason, I'll always remember that little story. But yeah, birthday coming up December 12th. Planning on going to Atlantic City with a whole bunch of buddies. And it should be a really good time. I was actually in AC recently for my buddy Joey Stan's birthday, and we had a fantastic time. We stayed at the Hard Rock Hotel, and I love that place. It's awesome. Did a little bit of gambling. We went to the club that night to see Sam Felt. We saw, and it was a really good time. So I'm excited to go back, and obviously I'm going to go a lot harder because it's for my freaking birthday, and we're also not just going for my birthday. We're going for several people's birthdays. My boy Dan, who's been on the podcast several times, his birthday's coming up then. My boy Scalacci, who's also been on the pod, his birthday is very close to mine as well. A lot of people in my friend group, their birthdays are in December. There's me, Scalacci, TJ, Dan, and Tom. How could I forget Tom? Me and Tom Craig share the same birthday on December 12th. So we're all going to AC to celebrate all of our birthdays, really, and it should be a really good time. But otherwise, besides that, that's all I really got going on with me. One last thing I'll mention about myself is that I've been taking violin lessons. I stopped for 2 months, but I'm starting that back up this November too. I'm very excited about that. I haven't played it in a little bit, but when I was going to lessons and I was practicing, I was improving pretty quickly. I mean, at least according to my teacher. So I'm excited to get back into that. Maybe I'll make a cool video of me playing the violin somewhere down the line in the future, but yeah, that's basically everything that's going on with me. I mean, as far as like video production and everything like that, I'll talk about that a little bit later. But personally wise, that's what's going on in my life. Obviously, I'm not going to say everything that's going on in my life. Some things are a little too personal. Some things are a little unnecessary to even speak on camera about. But I think there has to be a good medium and establishment of how, not just me, but like how actors, and some actors do this well, where like, you got your fame life, but then you got your personal life. And this is what I mean by actors. Some actors do this very well. Like, they keep their personal life very hidden. And if I ever made it big and, I had TMZ reporters, like, stalking me out and everything everywhere I go, like, I would try to, as much as possible, try to make my personal life stay personal. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean by that medium. Like, you don't want to give too much away about your personal life, because then there comes judgment, and I know judgment isn't the biggest thing, because you really shouldn't care what people think about you, but you start revealing too much, and then you can't help but to look at comment sections on social media, YouTube, and all that. And it's going to bring you down, some comments, So why even bother dealing with that? Why even bother revealing things to the world that, unless you feel really strongly about it, why even bother speaking it into existence? Because it's just going to be a headache, for you, for the person that's speaking those words into existence. Unless you're trying to be that person that's like, yeah, I want to say something controversial right now. Yeah, I want to say something really personal right now, and see if people are either going to accept it or reject it, stuff like that. But, that's why I thought about vlogging before, and I feel like if you're going to be a vlogger, you got to be filming every single day. Say you're a vlogger and you post once a week. You got to take the best clips from your previous week to put into a video together for your next week's video, right? That means you got to be filming every second. I think you would have to be filming every second of every day to make sure you're not missing on the best moments of your week, or at least have your camera handy. Like David Dobrik releases a new vlog every week. He used to do it where it was like Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, or maybe it was Tuesdays and Thursdays, whatever the case may be. He did more than one vlog a week, right? And I remember him saying that, like, it gets tiring after a while. And I just don't know about that whole vlogging lifestyle. I feel like it's a little toxic at times too. I feel like you're almost a slave to your camera in a sense, and obviously it's your job and everything. If you're making money off of it, like, it's your living. But I think it comes to the stance of, you might be revealing too much about yourself, where judgment or controversy or anything of that nature may come into play. And I'm just not one of those people that would vlog, unless there was a cool event happening, like say I go to a camp out EDM festival or something like that. Hell yeah, I'll vlog that trip. But I wouldn't be one of those people that vlog every day, or forget about the people that release a vlog every day. That's crazy. I knew some YouTubers who used to do that back in the day, like Prank versus Prank, an old YouTube channel. They used to do that every day almost. They release a new video every day. And even like Roman Atwood, another prankster on YouTube, he used to release a vlog every day for the most part. Used to. But, this is like proving my point right now. Like, it gets tiring, like you just don't want to do it anymore after a while and things of that nature. I think it's just too much. I think it's just too much with that. But anyway, I feel like I got off topic here a little bit. I don't know what got me onto the whole vlogging thing. Oh yeah. Friendsgiving, clean shaven and everything like that. It's perfect that I shaved right at the end of October, because November is like famous for no shave November, and no nut November, which is convenient to the point. My little goal that I said before, that I don't feel like repeating. But yeah, no shave November. I'm definitely trying to get the beard back. I don't mind the clean shaven look. I just feel like I look a lot younger, and that I don't like. That I don't like. My mom loves when I'm clean shaven. My cousin John loves when I'm clean shaven, or even have a little bit of scruff, which I kind of do now. Like, this is already growing back pretty quickly. Since this past Saturday, like, it's itchy now. It's growing back quicker than I thought it was. Yeah. What else am I missing? I wrote down notes of what was, like, going on in my life. No, that was it. I did a pretty good job there. I wrote down everything of what I wanted to say on this podcast. And as far as everything going on in my life, I said everything that I needed to say that I wrote in my notes. Excuse me. All right, we're going to move on to a news roundup now. For those of you guys who watch the podcast, for most of the episodes, we'll do a news roundup right at the beginning to just, talk about what's going on in the movie world, trailers that was released, news that got announced, things of that nature. So we got a little bit of both for this news roundup. First thing we got is a little bit of news that we got about Chris Pratt. So Chris Pratt, as we all know, it's like famously, somewhat infamously known that Chris Pratt is going to be voicing Mario in the new Super Mario animated movie that's coming out next year or the year after. I'm not too sure. But there's a little bit of controversy over that. Because people are saying, like, why didn't they actually cast an Italian? I mean, I'm one of those people. You got Sebastian Maniscali. I think I'm saying his last name right. But anyway, Sebastian Maniscali is also in the Super Mario movie voicing a character, but not Mario or Luigi. Like, that's an Italian right there. Like, why isn't he voicing Mario or Luigi? They didn't cast any Italians for Mario or Luigi. You got Chris Pratt as Mario, and you got Charlie Day as Luigi. Is that hilarious and probably great choices? Yes, it is. They are good choices. But it would have been a better choice if they actually casted Italians for the voice acting. I think it just makes more sense. I don't know. But anyway, we're not here to talk about the Mario movie. So Chris Pratt was casted as Mario. Now he's casted to voice act for another famous character in the world. And it's the famous cat Garfield. You guys know Garfield. The fat cat, orange cat, the cat that loves lasagna. Yes, Garfield. So Chris Pratt is voicing Garfield. What are my thoughts on this? First thing that comes to mind is, who's asking for a new Garfield movie? Who's asking for it? I thought the previous two Garfield movies with Bill Murray were terrible. I thought they were awful, but Bill Murray was a good choice as Garfield, to be the voice of Garfield. I thought that fit appropriately, but it didn't help the movies whatsoever. They were both terrible. I think it was Garfield, that was the name of the first movie, and the other one was called, like, Garfield, The Tale of Two Kitties or something like that. But they were both awful, and they kind of stopped making them after that. But whatever studio and production company decides, like, hey, you want to know what the world needs now? A Garfield movie. And you know who we should cast as Garfield? You know who would fit so so well as Garfield? Chris Pratt. Like, what? In my opinion, no. Chris Pratt should not be Garfield. And I have nothing against Chris Pratt. I love Chris Pratt. I fell in love with him in Parks and Rec. He's fantastic. He's one of the best characters in Parks and Rec. He's great as Star-Lord in the MCU. He's also pretty good in those Jurassic World movies as well. He's pretty good in those. And props to him for killing it in all these voice acting roles. Like he was the main character in the Lego Movie 1 and 2. He was one of the main cast members for that Pixar movie Onward. Now he's Mario, and now he's Garfield. I mean, he's racking these roles up. So good for him. I mean, I love Chris Pratt, so good for him. I appreciate all that he does, and I'm happy that he's doing well. But I really don't think he should be voicing Garfield, man. I really don't think so. You want to know what's gonna really change my opinion on this? Is how he does in the Mario movie. Because he better be working on some crazy accent. He better be working on some crazy voice for Mario that fits Mario. Because he has to change his voice kind of drastically to play Mario. And I feel like he would also kind of have to drastically change his voice for Garfield, too. I feel like, Chris Pratt is this very energetic guy, this very funny guy. I just don't see that for Garfield. I feel like you have to have a very lazy voice, more of like a deeper voice. Like, it's almost hard for me to explain, but I think I explained that pretty well there. I don't know. Let me know if I'm right. Let me know if you understand what I'm saying, if you agree with me. Just such a weird choice for that. And then once again, who's asking for a Garfield movie? Who's asking for it? I don't think anybody wants it. It's like, who's asking for a Clifford the Big Red Dog movie? Is Hollywood really running out of ideas that they're just either rebooting whatever they could get their hands on, or finding books, video games, TV shows, etc. to make movies out of? What's going on? Anyway, that's my thoughts on Chris Pratt voicing Garfield in the new upcoming movie. Just so weird. It is just such a weird choice. And I hope this Garfield movie that comes out is fully animated. You know how like the two original Garfield movies, it was live action, but obviously Garfield was animated. I hope this is all animated, this Garfield movie. I just feel like it would play out better. I feel like it would fit the tone better. Things like that. I don't know. But all right, let's move on to our second thing on our news roundup. This is actually a little bit of sad news, this next thing that's happening. And no, I'm not talking about the really unfortunate events on the set of Alec Baldwin's indie film Rust. I guess we could talk about that a little bit. I'm pretty sure it was Alec himself who accidentally shot and killed the head cinematographer, I believe, on this independent film called Rust. I really don't even want to get into it. Thoughts and prayers go out to the family of this cinematographer. It's a real unfortunate thing that happened. That's all I'll really say on that. But besides that, this is not even close to as sad news as the thing that happened on the Rust set. But this is sad news as far as the MCU. The new movie that's coming out, By the time this podcast comes out, the movie will already be out. Eternals. Eternals is not only the lowest rated Marvel MCU movie to date, but it's also the only MCU movie that has a rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes. In fact, last time I checked, which was today before filming this, it's currently at a 58%. Now, this seems bad, right? This seems bad for a couple of reasons. One reason being, oh no, it's like after Endgame, it's like maybe Marvel's losing it. Maybe they're running out of ideas that are just not that good, you know? I mean, maybe they're getting desperate. Who knows? And then the other reason is like, hey, they tried something different and it just didn't work out. And that's okay. When they first announced this movie, Eternals, I was like, what is this? I have no idea about the Eternals. I'm not that big of a comic book reader in general. I'm just a huge fanatic on all the movies and TV shows and whatnot. I have no idea about the Eternals. And when I heard they were making a movie about them, I was like, cool. I'm excited to see new characters that I have no idea about. I'm excited to see a new story that I have no idea about. And then the trailer started coming out. And I was like, this looks okay. It just looks okay. It didn't look like anything crazy. It looked very different, and that's what a lot of these critics are saying. It's a very different MCU movie. But it's also the worst MCU movie that's ever come out so far. And let me just say this, too. 58%, in my opinion, isn't that bad. It's not that bad of a score. You're on the brink of being fresh on Rotten Tomatoes at 58%. Because I think to be fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, I think it's a 60%, right? So it's at the brink there. So it's right there. But this is definitely a defeat for Kevin Feige, for Disney, for Marvel Studios. But it's a defeat for right now, because the film didn't come out yet as I'm speaking. The movie comes out on Friday. I'll be seeing it when this podcast comes out. I'll be seeing it tomorrow on Tuesday. It's really going to be up to the fans as a whole on if this movie is good or not. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the fans. It's all about that money being made at the box office, right? If fans and people in general don't like this movie at all, then I bet you they're going to scrap the ideas for a Eternal sequel. You know, now that I think about it, maybe not. Maybe not. Because Suicide Squad, David Ayer's Suicide Squad, was hated by both critics and fans. But they still moved on with the sequel. And knowing Marvel, they're like 10 years ahead in planning. So they might have Eternals 2, Eternals 3 already down in the pipeline that might relatively affect the MCU as a whole in the future. So I think it would be hard to scrap plans for sequels if they already have that all mapped out. But like I said, to not get too off topic, it's going to be up to the fans if this movie is good or not. Because like myself, and I know a lot of people out there, we don't like to listen to the critic reviews. Sure, we love to see when critic reviews are great for movies that we really care about, right? But even if it gets bad reviews, me and a whole bunch of other people, hopefully you guys included, would say those are just critic ratings. Let me see what I think about it myself. That's how most people should think. That's how everyone should think when it comes to movie, TV shows, and everything. Because movies, media is subjective. That's the beauty of it. Everyone has and is entitled to their own opinion to everything. Especially in movies, TV, music, any sort of media, any sort of content. And so yeah, I'm going to be doing a Eternals review on the next episode of the podcast. Next episode, I'll be having Luke and Matt Ellis on. And even if I'm the only one that saw it at the time, I will do a review on Eternals. Because at the end of the day, it's an MCU movie. It's a part of the timeline. I'm sure it's going to have some sort of effect on the MCU. So it's something that's going to be important to talk about. But I think it was important to bring up that it's the lowest rated, critic rated MCU movie. And it's rotten right now on Rotten Tomatoes, which is a first for the MCU. It's a historic day to be made, and not in the best way. So, there's that. Alright, we got two more things on our news roundup here. And they're two trailer reviews. Now, I wish Luke was here for this trailer review because he's clearly a bigger fan of this franchise, this series. But it's the Book of Boba Fett. The first trailer came out a day or two ago. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. Okay. But I watched a decent amount of their movies. Unfortunately, not the movies that really matter, though. Like the really good Star Wars movies, I haven't seen. In fact, I'm not that big of a Star Wars fan that I can't even give you the name of those really good movies that I haven't seen because I don't really know them. I definitely know I haven't seen The Empire Strikes Back. But I've seen the new trilogy, and I didn't think it was that bad. And for me saying I didn't think the new trilogy was that bad just goes to show you that I'm not that big of a Star Wars fan because the true Star Wars fans hated the new trilogy. Okay? So that just goes to show you there. But anyway, the Book of Boba Fett, the first trailer came out. It's a new show that's coming out on Disney Plus in December. And it looks okay. It looks okay. I watched The Mandalorian. I saw Boba Fett show up in Season 2. He actually had a pretty decent role in Season 2. And I liked Boba Fett's character in The Mandalorian. So with that said, I am going to watch The Book of Boba Fett. I am going to watch it, and I'm sure I'll enjoy the hell out of it. But the trailer itself was just okay. It wasn't anything amazing, in my opinion. As far as I heard, they're going to be on Tatooine most of the time. So, I know Tatooine is like a big, a very important place in the Star Wars universe. So that's cool, I guess. The sidekick of Boba Fett, I don't know if she's Asian, Korean, I'm not too sure. I don't want to falsely say what ethnicity she is, but all I'll say is that I love her because she played Agent May, I believe her name was, in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and she was one of the best characters in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when I watched it. I only watched like the first 2 or 3 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but May, who is the sidekick now in Boba Fett, is a great actress. She's great. And I'm excited to see her performance in it. And yeah, I don't have much to say about this trailer. I really don't. I think it looks decent at most. But am I still definitely going to watch it? Yes. Yes, I am. And Boba Fett's a badass. Like, if you think about it, though, Mandalorian kind of took the spotlight away from Boba Fett. Because as far as I know, Boba Fett was the coolest motherfucker around in the Star Wars universe. Besides, like, Darth Vader and Luke and Obi-Wan. But since Mandalorian came out, Mandalorian took that spotlight away from Boba Fett. Like, Mando has the cooler armor. I am most definitely sure Mando will kick the shit out of Boba Fett in a fight. Especially with the Darksaber now. Spoiler alerts if you haven't watched Season 2 of Mando. He's got the Darksaber now. Like, he would easily beat Boba Fett in a fight. But, anyway. It looks okay. It just looks okay to me. But I'll still definitely watch it. I do like the concept of it, too. That's the last thing I'll say. I like the concept that he's going after his father, Jabba the Hutt, right? Am I saying that right? I'm going to look like such an idiot to all you guys if I'm not saying this right, especially if you guys are big Star Wars fans. Luke will kill me, but Jabba, I'll just say Jabba. That's his father, I'm pretty sure. Boba is taking over the throne, or trying to take over his father's throne. He's trying to take over his place. That concept I like. I do like that concept. And I know they're doing Boba Fett justice in this show, because as much as he was one of the coolest motherfuckers out there in the Star Wars universe, he didn't have the biggest role at all in the movies back in the day. He was like barely in them as far as I know and remember. So it's cool that they're giving him a little bit of a spotlight. Yeah, that's all I'll say with that. All right, last thing we got on our news roundup. Last thing we got on our news roundup is another trailer review, and it's a trailer that actually came out today, and it's for Morbius. The first trailer for Morbius came out a little over a year ago, and then delays happened, and then more delays happened, and then more delays happened for the release of this movie. And most of the delays wasn't their fault. Obviously, COVID happened, and a lot of movies got delayed, and that was also a big reason for this Morbius movie getting delayed. But so it went through many delays, and we finally got a second trailer. The movie comes out in January. For those of you who don't know who Morbius is, he's basically a Spider-Man villain. He's a vampire. That's all I really know about Morbius. When they first announced this movie, I was like, who is this guy? And if I don't know who this guy is, then why are they making a movie about him? And I'm sure that's what a lot of people were thinking too. It was almost like, all right, we need the Batman of our universe. We need the Batman of characters that we own to make movies out of. Oh, this guy has bat-like powers, so let's just make a movie about him. And that's probably the studio conversation right there. And thus, Morbius was born, right? Maybe that's how it went. Not too sure. But anyway, I watched the trailer today. This trailer was amazing. I loved this trailer. It looked dark. It looked gritty. It looked violent. And it looks like we're actually getting a movie where we're going to see him turn into the villain. Venom, you see him starting to turn into a good guy. Especially in Venom Let There Be Carnage. Venom's a good guy. which I know he kind of is in the comics too, but like in Venom Let There Be Carnage, he was preaching at that rave scene, which I thought was so irrelevant. He was preaching at the rave scene. He was like, yes, humans and aliens could live together and be at peace with each other. It's like, shut the fuck up and eat people's heads off and eat their brains. You are Venom. What are you doing preaching this shit for? Right, so he's becoming a little bit too much of a goody two-shoes Venom in his movie series. Morbius, on the other hand, looks like he's struggling to stay human, and he's struggling to let the inner beast out of him. Okay? As you can tell from the trailer, he's bloodthirsty, like a vampire should be, right? He's bloodthirsty. And I think he's going to not try to bite humans, suck blood, all that shit. And, you know, he's going to get into a pissy mood because of it. It's probably like when I fully quit the vape and I haven't smoked it in a couple of days and I'm just pissed at everything in the world because I haven't hit nicotine in a while. It's probably just like that, you know. It looks like, how do I want to word this? It looks like he is struggling to not become a villain. Okay? And that's where I'm getting this dark vibe from this trailer. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's very good. I didn't mention this before, but it's starring Jared Leto. Jared Leto is Morbius. And I know, some people I read on the internet were worried that it's like, oh no, Jared's playing another comic book character, you know. He should stay away from the comic book characters after his Joker performance. I would have to disagree. Jared Leto's a very good actor. He's Academy Award nominated, and I think he's an Academy Award winner as well. You know? So yeah, the trailer looks excellent. The visuals look fantastic. And he just looks like a creepy vampire. And I am all in for it. I'm eating it all up. And it's safe to say I'm very excited for this movie. All right. With that down, we are going to move on to our last section of this podcast. How long have we been going on for? Oh, shit. We've been almost going on for an hour already. All right. I truthfully thought this was going to be a short podcast, like 30 minutes or something like that. We're reaching an hour, so I'm kind of happy about that. This is going better than the last time I tried to do a solo podcast for sure. All right, so now it's time for some Farank video news. And I know there's some big questions you guys have. Sorry. I know there's some big questions you guys have after I announced that the podcast is ending. Number one, why are you ending the podcast? And number two, what is your last episode going to be? What's it going to be about? So, I'll right off the back, I'll say this, okay? And I'll probably repeat this on the 100th episode, our last episode. The podcast isn't ending because of any bad reason, okay? There's no bad reason behind us ending the podcast, all right? So I'll just say that. We're ending the podcast because there's just a lot of other projects that we want to work on. And, you know, we film a podcast once a week, and I edit it throughout that week to release for next week. And it's just too time-consuming. And we have a lot of other video projects that me, Luke, Joe, you know, that we all want to do. And, you know, the podcast just takes up too much time. So that's really why we're stopping it, is just to work on other stuff. And with that being said, just because the podcast is over doesn't mean that the YouTube channel is dead, okay? Like, video and content is coming out. Sure, we won't be posting for a while after the podcast ends, but it doesn't mean we're taking a break. We're going straight to work on these other projects that we're working on once this podcast ends. Once everything is done with this podcast, and that's the editing and promotion. Really, promotion is the last thing. When promotion ends, we are immediately getting into pre-production on all the other projects that we want to do. Now, let's get in to what those other projects are. We currently have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 other projects in the works, okay? 2 that are currently in like the early stages of pre-production right now. So one of them is Farank Gaming Season 3, okay? That's like the first thing we're going to be working on after the podcast is over. And it's going pretty well so far, I'll say that. We are going to be doing another 10-episode season like the past 2 seasons were. We got mainly every game that we're going to play locked in, except for maybe, I think there's only 3 slots left that we haven't decided which games we're going to play. But most of the games are locked in of what I'm going to play, what we're going to play. So work's already done, getting done on that project. And then we have Farank Adventures Season 2, which is going to be focusing on, weird New Jersey sites, weird New Jersey locations, and things of that nature. And we're also in the very, very early stages of pre-production with that. We're currently researching locations of where we should visit without getting in trouble for trespassing, obviously. So yeah, those are the 2 main things that we're going to start working on immediately once this podcast is over. Now, like I said, there are 5 projects that we're working on, after this podcast. Okay. I only just named 2, Farank Gaming and Farank Adventures. The other projects, I'm not ready to announce yet. Not ready to announce it. But they will be announced soonish. Kind of soonish. I don't know. See how it goes. See how it goes. That's all it is. So yeah, Farank Gaming Season 3, it's going to be 10 episodes just like the first 2 seasons. Farank Adventure Season 2, right now it's going to be 6 episodes like the first season of Farank Adventures. But that can easily change. We want to visit a lot of different locations. Some locations are going to be mixed in one episode. One location will be a whole episode dedicated to that one location. We don't know yet. So right now it's only 6 episodes that we're making, but that can easily change as production goes forward. And because I won't be doing the podcast anymore, I'm thinking for like the movies that come out that I really care about. Like for instance, the first thing I could think of is like Spider-Man No Way Home. I'll probably do a brief movie review on like my social medias for the YouTube channel. Like I'll post my Spider-Man No Way Home review on Instagram at Podcast with Frank and on Facebook at Farank Videos. Yeah, I'll probably do small things like that as far as just talking to the camera and talking about movies and everything like that. But yeah, that's like everything I got as far as YouTube wise. And that's just a brief summary of what's going to be going on in the future for the Farank Videos YouTube channel. Like I said, all the projects will be announced relatively soonish. I don't know exactly when yet, but they will be announced to you guys through social media sooner or later. But yeah, that's all I really got for you on that. And with that being said, that's all I really got for you guys on everything for tonight. I hope you enjoyed me ranting, getting off topic, talking to the camera by myself. I will say this. I will have to admit that I had a much better experience filming this solo episode than the first time I tried filming a solo episode. Maybe I just needed a little bit of practice. Maybe I don't know what it was this time around. I just feel like it worked out better. Let me know what you guys think of how I did on this very first solo episode of the Hot Takes podcast. And by letting me know, you can like, subscribe, and share. You could also follow us on Instagram at Podcast with Frank. I'll be posting clips of this podcast, among other projects I'm working on for you to check out. And we're also on Facebook and Twitter at Farank Videos, on TikTok at Farank Videos. And yeah, with all that being said, we will see you for the 99th episode next week. And with all that being said, have a great night and peace out.
Name of the song speaks for itself, right?
Sure.
Don't hold back. So the story is really my whole life. I told you in the beginning of our interview that I was holding back. I was not releasing. Like, I had songs I was holding on to for a long time, and I wouldn't release them because I thought they're not good enough, or I'm not good enough, and all these doubts. And with this song, I said, finally, I'm done holding back. This is it. I'm doing this, right? So that's kind of that's why I wanted to release the song first, because I was like, finally, I just want to go for it.
It's almost like a metaphor in some sort of sense. Like, this is your introduction in saying, it's like, get ready for my music because it's coming, So was that one that you recorded at home or at the studio?
I recorded that at home during quarantine. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I recorded that one, and I'm on top at home with Kent on Pro Tools.